Welcome back to the Rhonda Swan Show, and this is the New York edition. Second month here now in New York, and we have some unbelievable guests that are coming your way. In fact, today's guest is all about the markets. What's going on right now in our financial industry, and how do you navigate it? My guest is David Rojas, the CEO and founder of Blue Castle Ventures, and he is showing those how to not only build their wealth, but grow it even in a volatile market. So let's meet David Rojas. What's up?
Hey,
welcome to the show. Good to have you. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while, hey?
It has been. So we're in New York, obviously, and the conversation right now on the street is what's going on with our market and how is Blue Castle Ventures really helping, the public understand and learn how to navigate these new market shifts and trends?
Well, thank you for inviting me, first of all. And yes, indeed, the markets are always going to be the main focus of people because economy kind of is the most important thing for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
How Blue Castle Ventures helps? Well, our focus is mainly education. So we try to teach the customers where to find the right information because that's a big problem nowadays. Internet is so full of things that like the sources are not reliable. Nowadays, opinions are becoming something more important than facts. And that's something that we cannot normalize it. First, you have to really check the facts, not someone's opinion. Opinions are not real facts. And we see it across the different industries. And that's something very dangerous in the markets because rumors sometimes move markets. I think you can perceive in some fake news sometimes that the market jumps in a second and goes back to normal just because someone thought that this rumor was right. And that's a big driver.
That's actually a really big statement, right? Rumors can be very dangerous. And I think that's a very important message to share not only to the public, because if you don't have a financial advisor or someone that is watching or understands really what's happening, people can make really bad mistakes.
Yeah,
right?
For example, panicking and selling your stuff when you had another plan. So something that we teach our customers is if you have a plan, follow it. You need a plan before doing any sort of investment.
Yeah.
When someone comes and says, I just want to make money, I tell, hey, buddy, this is the wrong company because just making money is not a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money is a tool for you to achieve certain goals, to have a better living situation or whatnot. But I think money is like water, always has to be moving. You cannot just store it in one place and do nothing with it now. I think that's a wrong concept that we have had.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And so, share what was really the motivation behind Blue Castle, right? Because you guys are doing so much when it comes to not only wealth management but education globally. Where did this come from?
Well, like I stated before, we started just like a education company, but then the customers, when they saw, okay, this is not a joke, like this is difficult. We want you to try to help us to handle our finances. We try to create products that will take the best aspects of the market and give better results. We have been always taught that the volatility is something bad for you. Like banks don't like it, people don't like it. For Blue Castle, that's actually our, that's the best moment when you have to invest because you can get advantage of those extreme swings in the market. That's just one part of our strategy. And another part is that if you are already good at making money with stocks, well, start to divest in other things. Right now, we're also opening like a new vertical, which with real estate. That is the logical point after making money in the market. Okay, get with more collaterals, things that get value over time.
Yeah.
The bigger companies are doing it. There are bigger companies and trust funds that are just buying lots of real estate, and they plan to do big things with this. So it's the smart move.
Yeah, it's a great strategy. I mean, we start to bank our money, put it into assets that we can also use in the future, right? I mean, I think that's where real estate has always been, such a popular investment. Yet now it's like people are investing in foreign markets, right? Foreign real estate as well. And my question about that is, how does Blue Castle, with such different, you're doing real estate, right? You guys are doing investing on a daily basis. You're doing education. How do you maintain your integrity among a lot of, like you said, the noise, the rumors, the conversations. How is Blue Castle like holding its line and its integrity in the marketplace?
Well, fortunately, we have always had the time I have the time to sit with each one of my customers, even if I'm at the highest position of my company. I think it's very important to listen what the customer wants. If you don't know what the customer wants, you cannot give a proper guidance. Big banks, I know that it's very difficult for them to give almost a tailored solution for people.
Yeah.
And we have tried to do that, like try to find a way that we can give something almost tailored for you, like fits your goals and everything. And most importantly, before engaging business, we try people to understand the legal part of it, because sometimes people forget about that. They're just focusing on their goal. Oh, I'm going to make this, but they don't take into account, hey, the market can move in certain ways, and what we will do is to protect you. That's the most important thing for us. Like, we're going to protect our customers. Fortunately, we act very fast when there are changes in the market or something.
Yeah.
But what we are really good at is like identifying the trends. So when we see that something is moving in the market, that's where we go. So now we see the foreign real estate, like you mentioned, is something that is moving, and it's like a product of another trend that is people moving abroad, like these entrepreneurs who are nomads, expats who live in like America.
I mean, my goodness, I've been out of the country for 17 years.
Yeah, you went ahead of this like almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And now the new American dream is, okay, I'm going to live abroad in a perfect climate, earning US dollars and having the time of my life.
Yeah.
And my time and yeah.
Well, I mean, and you guys are coming at the right time, right? You've been around for over, 10 years or so, Ventures, Blue Castle, 8 to 10?
Like almost 7 years.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, perfect timing for those that are starting to have these ideas, yet they don't really know how to implement them. And I know that, having someone on your side to be able to reach out to is really important. Now, I have a question, because I know a lot of women are not only taking their own leadership roles, but they're also playing partnership roles with their family. And I want to ask you about like masculine leadership, right? Not only in the business marketplace, but also in the day-to-day life, because you mentioned rumors can cause problems, and I think that often, especially men in leadership or men in different roles, especially in wealth and investing, it gets a little hard at times, right? And so how are you navigating that as a role model, if you will, not only for the family, but for also, men in leadership positions and roles?
Well, it's going to be a little bit controversial, my answer.
All right, bring it.
I think manhood has been thrown out of the window because of the trends in the past, 5-10 years. And I don't know, they're teaching women to compete with men, where I don't think that's the right approach. Like, we complete each other. Why should we be competing? Right?
Yeah.
And also the expectations, and that's social media's fault. The expectations that they have drawn for women, what type of man they need.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the guy who makes more than $1 million a year, 6 feet tall. I don't know. And if you see that the real kind of percentage of these, checklist.
It's like less than 1%.
It's less than 1% of the world. So, and what do you bring to the table? And most of them cannot answer that.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate that I have married a very beautiful and intelligent woman. And she has given me that, like, she has reaffirmed what a man of status will look into a woman. And it will be a person who can be a mom at home, but at the same time, someone who pursues their dreams. The only thing that we haven't figured out is how children fit in there because of time.
Yeah.
Time is not enough.
And you both are building careers. You've got a mission. You have passion for what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this, like, we complete each other in what way? Like, if I'm successful, right, she's going to be successful. She brings what all men are looking for, which is their safe place.
Yeah.
The place without noise. That you can, if you want to be a vulnerable man, okay, do it with your wife. But to the rest of the world, you are just a warrior, a Viking, a killer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
protects the family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The one who protects. But the woman is the one who nurtures the family. And I remember at school, like, I'm I'm gonna be hitting 40 this year. They told us like family is the nucleus of society, but now family is just broken. So that's why society is going sideways right now. And she has her own career. She's an entrepreneur, but she still is the woman who takes care of her husband or child or everything. So you can see that we all play different roles.
Yeah.
And these roles don't define us. They just are part of us. Like we cannot see a human being only through one set of glasses. We are so complex that we have so many different things. Men, we are children, like just with bigger toys. Like we have different types of like things in our personality. So when you say, oh, just men want this and that, that's not very accurate because human beings are so complex that we want many things and we are so different if we're placed in different situations.
Yeah.
If I'm in a, I don't know, in a family event, I'm maybe a very sweet guy or whatnot. If I'm maybe placed in, I don't know, in a very harsh environment, I'm going to be something different. And that happens with women too, depending how they're treated or where they're placed. That's what happens. And men are selling themselves short, and women too. Like they just want, oh, I'm pretty, so I deserve everything. No. If you want to build something that lasts, you have to do it together. You cannot do it just one side and the other.
And I love that about you, and I'm excited to have your wife on the show too, so we can talk more about that because I think it's so important, right? Especially to show society, and even not whether you have children or not. I know you have already one child, but it's because we are now showcasing what is it like to have a real family, a real business that's run as a couple, right? Because we have a lot of responsibilities, and I think that's really a bold statement that needs to be back in our ethos again, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be bashed for what I'm about to say, but I'm not against sexual orientation or anything. I'm not against that because every single person has the right to express themselves. But if you we are, I think, enabling the wrong thing. You are enabling a person to love what they think they should be. For example, if someone wants to become like a woman wants to become a man or vice versa, why don't we teach them how to love themselves first? Like, okay, you are a man and you feel that you are more like a woman. Why don't you first try and love your manhood and try to understand where it's coming from? I think the government and different, institutions or whoever is handling these things should teach us that first, like to love our bodies, love ourselves. And also maybe point it out more to the healthier ways to do it. I have always believed that if you are enabling something that is harmful for your body, you are going in the right direction. Now, again, I'm going to be bashed by this body positive thing. If you see many influencers who have this carelessness with their nutrition and whatnot, they're dead at 20, 30 years old. And that's a life that could have done so many things. Right. And I think you cannot just expect that things fall from the sky. No, you have to work hard if you want something.
Yeah.
And I believe that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, there is a lot of controversy, especially during this time right now. People are quite confused or they're, trying to make the right decisions. But it makes me think of this. So how are you brought up? Because I feel like often, right, that all this confusion and things are going on. A lot of the times, like you said, like, why don't we look at why are you not pleased? Like maybe it may have happened, because often people have had really challenging lives. And so then they want to block it or they choose differently. And that's not for everyone, of course. I'm not generalizing. Yet I think a lot of it also comes from the home. That's what we're talking about, the values, the upbringing, right? Like how is that? How does that come from your family?
Well, I'm just a middle-class guy. I wasn't born rich nor poor. I come from a very Catholic background, but myself, I'm not a Catholic. I'm a man of science. I respect all beliefs and whatnot. But my only belief is that you have a role in society. You have to contribute somehow. A human being without a purpose is a wasted human being. In what sense? When a person doesn't have a purpose, what happens? Depression comes in. You don't see sense in your life. Suicide, like so many problems.
Confusions, all these things that we're talking
And maybe, who knows, I'm not sure, sexual orientation, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you really are able to find your passion, if you're able to find your place in the world, if you, for example, I understood since I was very little that I was very good at solving problems. Like even my friends at school, they will come with some problem that for us were problems that time. And I will find like a way to solve it, right? Like, why don't you do this? Oh, but I'm not like that, or that's unorthodox or whatnot. And I will say, well, how do you know if it's going to work if you don't try it out? The worst thing that can happen is either that they tell you, no, you cannot do it, or maybe it doesn't work and you try a new approach. But each process is going to teach you something.
Mm-hmm.
So you're closer to solving the problem if you do something than not doing anything. That's when you are inactive and you complain every day, but why my life is like this, why I feel like this, but you don't do anything. The definition of madness is trying the same thing, trying to get a different outcome.
Yeah.
So you just have to pick up yourself up and try. And if you feel that you cannot do it alone, well, your family is the first ones to call. I understand that sometimes families are not perfect, but if you can find maybe that one person you can trust, and I think the key of finding that person is a person who accepts you with your pluses and minuses,
which is ends up being your partner, exactly, right? Which I think it all leads together. It's like a perfect combination between running a successful business, right? Being able to be vulnerable, but also strong in and taking bold steps in a marketplace, right? So you're guiding those. Really, I mean, you're like a consultant to how do you invest properly? Well, you invest really well if your family life is really good. Like it almost comes hand in hand, right? If you're happy at home, you're confident, you're comfortable, you're supported, right? And that's the same if it's not working.
The same thing.
It's even more so important, right?
You have to face the things like, and especially right now with social media, like you have the positive side of it, but also you have the haters, right? So you just have to be very sure of who you are, and no matter what other people say, I think you have to stop chasing that, oh, I'm the most important person. No, you just have to understand what is your role, and if your actions help you escalate to some important position in society, then great, because then you're doing something right.
Yeah.
And not give like thought to haters or people who just hide behind a screen. No, like some people take it really hard.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you are not able to cope with these things, like everybody is a victim of this. But what matters is that you understand who you are, and no matter the noise that is around, you have one objective. Just go for it. Like it doesn't matter what other people think. Your actions will speak more for you than rumors.
Yeah. Great advice. So what's next for you and for Blue Castle Ventures?
No, we're just going to keep developing our verticals, our side businesses, and try to consolidate our position in the future, because we want to see that our customers are not only customers, but somehow partners. That's why we're switching a little bit more to a club type of membership, where we can provide different services to that, and they can be part of something. I have seen several business models or several companies who have this approach, even older companies, and it works really well because the customer feels part of something and part of a change, and it's better to do it with people that doing it alone.
With a community, absolutely. All right, awesome. Wealth management communities. This is huge. How do they find you? Blue Castle Ventures, and how do they become part of the community?
Oh, they can just go to B as in Bob, C as in Charlie, V as in Victory, club.com. That's our new kind of website. And they can find us there, ask for more information, and then we can take it from there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, David. I'm super excited
Thank you for
all that's coming out with you and Blue Castle Ventures.
Thank you.
So there you go. Imagine being able to have a community and having those that are understanding not only the volatility of the market, but also helping you balance your emotions, the fears that might come up when you're investing, especially when you are, putting and building not only generational wealth, but for long-term investing for you and your family. And that's what Blue Castle Ventures Ventures does. And David Rojas is such a stand for family, for values, and for not only supporting others with a purpose to help us make this world a better place. What a great concept. So make sure that you follow David along with Blue Castle Ventures. And I can't wait to see you on the next show. We're going to be able to meet David's amazing wife, Manuela. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next. Don't forget to be unstoppable and stay wild.